and welcome to the video on medical insurance cost prediction. In this video, I'll teach you how to make a project or a machine learning app that will predict the cost of your medical insurance based on the features like age, sex, BMI, smoker, region, etc. etc. So first of all, let me import the required libraries. So import numpy as np, then I want pandas, so import pandas as pd. The next thing I want is let's say we'll try to do some data visualization and analysis, so I can import matplotlib and cbon. So import matplotlib dot pyplot as plt, and I also want to import cbon as sns, and then I want to train, test and split the data. So from sklearn dot model underscore selection import train, test, split. Next thing, we are simply going to use the linear regression model that we saw in the machine learning section. So a simple linear regression model from sklearn dot linear underscore model import linear regression, then from sklearn import metrics to check accuracy and all that, etc. So df will be equal to pd dot read csv, and I want the insurance data set that I already have, so csv. Let's check what do we have inside our data. So we have features like age, sex, bmi, children, smoker, region and charges. So based on all these independent features, I'll try to predict the cost of a medical insurance for a new person. So let's check the shape of the data. So df dot shape, the data set has 1338 rows and 7 columns. Now finally, let's check the info about data. So df dot info. So we, as you can see, we have some categorical type variables like smoker is yes or no, and region is southwest, and maybe sex is male and female. So we don't have direct numeric values for these features. So as machine learning models do not work with textual or categorical data, we have to encode the features. So first, let's check the categorical features that we have. Sex is the categorical feature, smoker and region, these three are categorical features. Now let's check, do we have some null values in the data set or not. So we can write df dot is null, and I can call sum. So yes, the data set is clean and we don't have any null values. Now let's write df dot describe. So this will give the basic statistical measures for all the numeric values that we have. Now let's understand the distribution of age that we have inside our data set. So I'll make one age distribution, the density or the maximum age density that we have inside the data set. So I'll use some cbon and matplotlib to plot this. So I can write sns dot set, and here I'll write plt dot figure, and inside this I can give a figure size of, let's say fixed size is 6,6, and let's say I want to plot a dist plot. This plot we already discussed in the video of cbon, so if you are still confused in the concept, you can refer to that video and write dist plot, and here I can write df of, and I want to use age column, so df of age, and I can give the title to this plot. Title will be age distribution, and finally plt dot show method. So we'll finally have this kind of plot for our age. So we can interpret like the density of the people in the 20s is very high. So this gives us the idea about the age distribution. Now let's make a bar graph for sex distribution. So we want to understand the data about the information about males and females present in the data. So we can understand that with the help of a bar chart. So I can write plt dot figure, and I'll give fixed size that will be 6,6, and I will make something sns dot count plot. So I want the count for, let's say, x is equals to sex, and data that I want to use is of df, and plt dot title is sex distribution, and I'll write plt dot show. So this is the sex distribution that we have inside our data set. Almost identical number of male and female. I can also check this with the help of value counts function. So df sex dot value underscore counts. So we have 676 males and 662 females. Let's plot the BMI with the dist plot. So I can write sns dot dist plot, and directly I want df of BMI, and I can write plt dot show to plot this. So this is the distribution plot for BMI. And next thing, so the normal BMI range can be like around 18.5 to kind of 25ish, and so these are some of the basic visualizations that we did. Now let's also get an idea about the distribution about region. So how many people are from southwest, northwest, or maybe northeast or southeast region. So I can write something like df of let's say region, and I want value counts about each of the category present over here. So this is the number of people that we have from different region. Now let's perform some data encoding. So we, as already discussed, this data set contains some categorical features, so we have to encode them before giving them as an input to the ML model. So first I'll encode the sex column. So I can write something like df dot replace, and then I can write so sex, and I have again male will be replaced with 0 and female will be replaced by 1, and then I have to make this change. So I can give in place is equal to true. And finally, next thing I want to encode is the smoker column. So again I can write something like df dot replace, and here I can give smoker. For yes I have 0, and for no I have 1, and again this will be in place equal to true. So I'll copy this, and finally I'll encode the region column. So because region has 4 different categories, so I can give 0 for southwest, 0 for southeast, 1 for southwest, 2 for northeast, and 3 for northwest. So I can write df dot replace, and then finally in region for southeast I can give 0, for southwest I can give 1, for let's say northeast I can give 2, and finally for northwest I can give 3. Again this is in place is equal to true. Now split the dependent and independent features. So for my x I have df dot drop, and columns will be equal to charges and axis is 1. Y will be df of charges. So this will be my x. We have already done the data encoding for children, smoker and region column, and this will be my y, the values for insurance. Now let's use the train test split. So I'll make x train, x test, y train, y test. This will be train test split x y test size. Let's keep it 20%. We can check x train dot shape and x test dot shape. So we have 80% data for training and 20% data for testing. Now let's train the model. We'll use simple linear regression model to predict it. So regressor will be the model instance reg linear regression, and reg dot fit. This will be x train and y train. Then let's check the prediction on the training data. So I'll write training data prediction. This will be reg dot predict, and I'll give x train over here. Now let's calculate the r square value for our training data. So r2 train, this will be equal to matrix dot r2 underscore score, and this will be y train and training data prediction. So R2 train, we are getting around 75% R2 0.75 the R2 score for training. Now let's check the test data prediction. So I'll write test data prediction reg dot predict, and this will be x test. So I can calculate the R2 score for test. So R2 score will be y test and test data prediction. Okay, I have to write matrix dot R2 score. So we are getting around 74%, 3.74 R2 score. Now let's make a predictive system. So I'll make the sample input data first, sample input data, and this will be, I'll keep in mind the values and the type of data that we have in the data set. So let's 30 1 22.7 and 22.7. Then we have 0 1 and 0. Now let's change this input data type to a numpy array. So input data as numpy array. This will be np dot as array, and I'll give sample input data. Now let's reshape this array. So input data reshaped. This will be, I'll copy this, I'll paste it and call the reshape function and 1 comma -1. Then finally I want the prediction. This will be reg dot predict, and here I'll give this reshaped data, and I can print the insurance cost is prediction. So the insurance cost is 2223.03. So this is the predicted cost for these features. So here 30 will be considered as the age, and because we are giving 1, so it will be considered as female. 22.7 will be considered as the BMI, and then 0 will be considered for 0 number of children. Smoker, and it's a smoker because we are having 1, and finally 0 for the southeast region. So this was the complete medical insurance cost prediction project that we did. I hope you are clear with this. Now let's move to the next video. Thank you.